Hello and welcome. This is the September 2018 video edition of the Iowa General Fund Monthly Revenue Memo. I'm Jeff Robinson, Senior Fiscal Analyst for the Iowa Legislative Services Agency, the nonpartisan support agency of the Iowa Legislature. This video will cover Iowa net general fund revenue for the first 3 months of fiscal year 2019. I will also review the final general fund net revenue numbers for fiscal year 2018 and discuss how the closing of fiscal year 2018 impacts the current interpretation of fiscal year 2019. Cash fiscal year 2019 is off to a fast start. Over the months of July, August, and September, Iowa net general fund revenue increased $138 million, up 7.5% compared to the same 3 months last year. All major sources of general fund revenue have contributed to the growth. Growth in individual income tax receipts is currently receiving a boost from the automatic increase in Iowa withholding receipts that occurs through federal deductibility any time federal individual income taxes are lowered. A recent significant federal tax decrease was effective January 1, 2018, and federal withholding tables were adjusted in February. Let's now look at the just concluded fiscal year 2018. Iowa's fiscal year runs July 1 through June 30, and that period represents what can be referred to as the cash fiscal year. However, proper accounting dictates that revenue that is deposited and refund checks that are issued after June 30, but are the result of economic activity that occurred on or before June 30th, must be credited to that previous fiscal year. The process of accruing accounting transactions back to the previous fiscal year ends September 30. And it is only after that date that we have the final net revenue picture for fiscal year 2018. Fiscal year 2018 general fund revenue, net of tax refunds but not including transfer revenue, totaled $7.263 billion, an increase of $298 million or 4.3%. With transfer revenue included in the calculation, growth for fiscal year 18 was lower at $144 million. This table summarized revenue growth by major revenue source. Note that for this table, revenue is adjusted for accruals and refunds are subtracted from gross receipts. This provides a true look at net revenue by major source on a fiscal year basis. For the fiscal year, individual income tax provided $243 million in net revenue growth, far and away the largest growth source for the fiscal year. After a flat fiscal year 2017, sales and use tax did expand 2.4% during 2018. Transfer revenue provided a significant drag on total revenue growth for fiscal year 18, the result of a larger than normal flow of transfer money from other state funds during fiscal year 17. The transferred dollars helped balance the fiscal year 2017 budget. Those extra transfers were not continued in fiscal year 18. This next chart provides annual fiscal year net revenue growth for fiscal year 2018 and the previous 16 years. To provide a clearer picture of the actual year-to-date general fund revenue change, transfer revenue is excluded. The chart shows that while fiscal year 2018 growth was better than the last 2 years, 7 of the previous years produced higher revenue growth, and on a percentage basis, 9 of the past 16 years produced stronger growth than fiscal year 2018's 4.3%. With the end of September and the close of fiscal year 2018, it is now possible to look at the most recent 3 months on both a cash year and fiscal year basis, the latter being most important when considering the current state of 2019 revenue. To accomplish this task, I will present 4 tables that, when combined, provide an initial insight into where fiscal year 2019 currently stands on a fiscal year basis. These 2 tables show cash year receipts and refunds for the months of July, August, and September, with last year's accrual period on the left and the current year, fiscal year 2019, on the right. Each table breaks down the revenue and refunds into the 2 fiscal years that make up those first 3 months of any fiscal year. This breakdown is the result of the revenue accrual process that occurs at the end of each fiscal year, combined with a process in place for determining which fiscal year to charge tax refunds against when those refunds are issued in July, August, and September. Looking at cash year 2018 on the left, we see gross revenue at the top, refunds in the middle, and net revenue at the bottom. The first two columns provide the fiscal year breakdowns of cash receipts and refunds for those 3 months last year. The fiscal year 2017 three-month sum of $1.835 billion was divided into $567 million of fiscal year 17 net revenue and $1.268 billion of fiscal year 18 net revenue. The table on the right does the same for July to September transactions this year, and the net revenue impact on fiscal year 18 of $578 million and the net impact on 19 of $1.395 billion. The lower right-hand corner of the table on the right compares the cash year total columns of both tables and shows cash year 19 net revenue is up a healthy $138 million and 7.5%. The next two tables compare the fiscal year breakdowns from the previous two tables. The first table compares revenue and refund transactions that occurred after June 30 but were attributed in the accounting system to the just ended fiscal year. The table shows that while revenue accrual adjustments contributed $48 million of growth to fiscal year 18, higher tax refund transactions subtracted $37 million, leaving a net revenue impact of $11 million, a modest 1.9% growth rate. This final table shows what happens to the $138 million of net revenue growth we have seen over the months of July through September once that amount is adjusted for $11 million of growth credited back to fiscal year 18. While the $11 million subtraction results in $127 million of fiscal year growth, the year-to-date percentage growth for fiscal year 2019 expands to a significant 10%. Gross revenue has contributed $94 million to fiscal year growth, while reduced tax refunds contributed $33 million. This analysis of the months of July to September indicates that fiscal year 2018 finished with slow net revenue growth, while 2019 has started with extremely strong growth. In summary, fiscal year 2018 produced good revenue growth for the entire fiscal year, but ended on a slow note. The revenue slowdown at the end of fiscal year 18 can be traced to higher tax refunds issued this July and August compared to those 2 months last year. The new fiscal year is up a strong 7.5% on a cash basis and 10% on a fiscal year basis. The Revenue Estimating Conference will consider the final fiscal year 2018 revenue numbers when producing new estimates for fiscal years 2019 and 20 at the committee's next meeting scheduled for October 16th. I thank you for your time and your interest in Iowa General Fund revenue. Goodbye, and please check out the next monthly video memo in early November.